Ladies and gentlemen, we are live. PSR is excited to present to you Last Call, featuring your boy, the Pimp Slap POD, Mike M.
We are live and you are here. Let's go, Billy Briggs. How you doing, Dutch? What up, brother? Scoutster, what's up, brother? LJ from the HLJ.
Mike, man, happy to be here, man.
T on the ones and twos, -7.5, the official number we'll use, and the lines move 2 points. And this is not a show to be late for.
And now, let's get to the picks.
We be pumping! Happy Monday, everybody out there in the chat. We are in December. It's the official first week of December, and couldn't be happier to be back, ready to rock with you guys here. Finished off last week in some profitable spots on Friday. We'll go through that recap as well. But hey, we got a great week coming up here. Lots of fun happening. We got a great live stream that's going to be kicking off tonight with our guy, Jimmy the Bag. I'll be dropping in, giving you guys some looks, some more detailed looks than what we're going to talk about here on the show. But hey, small card. We still have lots of action to get paid and get you guys to the window. So it's going to give us that opportunity to drop in and break down each of these games a little bit more than maybe we might, but we're going to move at a rapid pace because 7 o'clock comes fast, as you guys know. And we want to give you time to get to the window, get a cocktail, freshen up, and then roll back in for this live stream tonight. And we have been absolutely destroying live streams. So I'm going to give this early plug for it, and we'll talk about it again shortly thereafter. I see our guy Razor Sharp in there giving out plus 200 interception props. Last night we had some great second half looks. We had some live betting spots on those unders and the totals and the sides, and we're going to keep it rolling. So I appreciate everybody dropping in, getting here to go. You guys know the situation. Monday to Friday, it's Last Call. It's Pub Sports Radio, 6 p.m. Eastern. Where else would you rather be than having your boy here? Me, Pimp Slap POD, breaking it down, giving you these looks, talking about some trends, talking about angles, line movement, everything you're going to need to know to make an educated and a more informed decision to help everybody get to the window. Shout out to our guy, T, back there on the ones and twos. You guys know he did us right there. He put that promo together for us. And shout out to our guy, Mike Kendall from the LFA, giving us the little voiceover on the intro as well. Best damn intro in the business as far as I'm concerned. That's right, Razor. I said it. We have put that to bait the bet. It's all over, and we are moving forward. Now, let's talk about these games here. We're going to break this thing down. We're going to talk about the NFL. We're going to jump into the NHL. Pucks were flying around the ice rink tonight. We got a ton of great spots out there and fuller cards. So I'm pretty excited about what we have out there for the NHL. We'll jump in. We'll talk about the 2 NBA games, and then we'll break it down with a couple of basketball spots to leave everybody that shot to get paid. And that's what it's all about here is them last looks to cook the books. So let's go in and shout out everybody that dropped in here early, right? 60 plus. You guys know the situation. Hit that like button if you haven't done so already. Give us the thumbs up on YouTube. Helps out a ton. I said this before. Getting into this 6 p.m. segment, it's a big ship, and we got to turn it around in a tiny little harbor. We need your guys' help to get it done, and it starts by smashing that thumbs up button for us. Again, cost you nothing. Means the world to us. And everybody that dropped in here early, ready to go, I appreciate it. That gives us the opportunity to get in here and get all these plays dropped out and get back and get to the window before they start. I always hate that last mad rush. I waited a little bit here, so we do have to move quickly because I still have some 7 o'clock spots that I was kind of trying to monitor, see what you guys have to say in the chat, and then make those final decisions. So you guys know the situation. 3 things we need you to do. Hit the thumbs up on YouTube for me. Show us that you like it and support the channel. 2, grab a pen and paper. And 3, put your picks out there in the chat. Let's try to see if we can all find winners tonight. I know you guys are smart MFers out there as well and throw tons of winning opportunities. So appreciate you guys that dropped in here early and are ready to roll. Andrew K says, let's go. Joaquin Hill, hey, let's go from Philly, baby. Yeah, let's go from Philly. We're not hiding in the sand. Them Philadelphia Eagles last night. We don't have those heads buried. We're hanging them up high. What did we do? We went out and got Jack Lawson. Let's go, baby. Little head-to-head with Dallas. He chose the right city to come to, the city of the brotherly shove, baby. Rochester, America's first city in the Philadelphia sports town, sports mecca of the USA. Let's keep going here. Jay Smooth 16. Let's get paid money, Mike. Let's go, Jay Smooth, my guy. Subhuman Gaucho, what up, my guy? Let's slap them bookies. Let's do it. Our guy, Razor Sharp, dropping in, showing love. You know he's going to be rocking tonight. He's going to have that cheese head on, maybe. Maybe he's going to have it on. I know he was sporting it today. He didn't want to take it off, and he was drinking the Henny out of the bottle first thing this morning. So that's going to make for a lot of fun tonight. North Ender, what up? What up? What up, North Ender? Justin McElvey, yes, sir. Says he just pulled up. Jeff M says, cocktails, of course, it's Monday. Why wouldn't we be cocktailing on a Monday? Smoke and Mirrors, what up, Smoke? Fletcher Berry, on vacation in the Bahamas, spent way too much money and no betting. I need to come back. Well, Fletcher Berry, I think you've come to the right spot. The Chad has been firing straight winning bombs on these casinos and these bookies. And we've been trying to chip in ourselves. We introduced the new segment last week with Tea Time. We're going to bring that puppy back on Tuesdays. He's going to give us his looks to cook them books as well. J-Dub, let's keep it rolling. Viper NB, Ricky Bobby, let's cash today. Mike and chat, smash that like button. Appreciate it, Ricky Bobby. Again, means a ton. Craig Ford, Coin, let's go. He says, Indiana looks live tonight. 73% of the tickets, 76% of the cash on Indiana, and the line's down to 4. We'll talk about that. Crum, what up, Crum? What's your best college basketball pick? I got 2 or 3 of them. I can't recall which, but we'll get to it. We're going to get there. We're going to give you guys plenty of opportunity to get down and get cash. And Big Scott 510's back up in here, says Herb Jones, 2+3s at +160. Dana Delp, of course, welcome back, Dana. It's always good to see you here. James Farm, what's up, guys? Ricky Bobby likes the under in Purdue, is what he's saying out there. And Jeff M says, hi, Mike. What up, boys and girls? Let's keep it rolling. Cashville Rican, what up? Appreciate the consistency. Hey, man, I appreciate it, dude. Appreciate you dropping in here, sharing those kind words. And, you know, look, yesterday is just that. We can only do what we can do today. And that comes down to rolling up the sleeves, putting in the work, and trying to make sure that we don't fall into some of these traps. We're going to fall into traps from time to time. It's impossible not to find some of those spots out there that are just like quicksand. But we're going to give you guys enough other looks as well, and the chat can hopefully sway us and keep us moving in the right direction. So you guys know what's up here. We're going to start out with this recap. We'll talk about Friday. You know, we're still crushing this year here, and it was a good Friday overall. Some spots better than others. And, you know, we're going to talk a little bit about what went down last week to close it out. Then we'll jump in. You guys will see on the right-hand side will be the plays that we're going to cover. The top of the screen will show you some of the looks that I have and some of the leans that I have out there. And then, of course, you guys in the chat make it all worthwhile. So Marcus McCarthy, this guy from Providence, I see you repping, my guy. Let's get it today. Hey, man, made a ton of cash. I said it earlier today on Medicate Monday. I try to get myself a little memento at the end of every season, and this one was a fortunate gift that came through with the ton of cash that we made on Providence and Ed Cooley and the boys. I think it was 2 years back, but maybe it could have been 3. Either way, it doesn't matter. We're going to keep it rolling. Providence hasn't been so good this year for me, but that doesn't mean they can't heat up. We know that they kind of lead that conference, and I'm sure we'll look forward to cashing on those guys. Yeah, thanks, Steve Martinez. Let's go. You know it's going to be a good day. Let's talk about this here. Let's break it down. So we start with last week here, guys. You know, Friday, we finished off the week. It was a 6-4 day. And look, we're 185 and 160 overall. We're up 20 and a half units on the show. So we've been middling. You know, we started out there. You know, we had the New Mexico State college football game. Kind of was flip-flop, right? The New Mexico State didn't get it done. And then, of course, the total that we had on the leans did get it done. So what are you going to do? That's the way it goes. That's the way the cookie crumbles, as they say. But we did have a nice 2-0 day, and then I gave out a nice live look as well. So hockey, we had the under 6.5 in the Ottawa game. There's a game that was not for the faint of heart. Started out, I want to say it was 2-2. And I remember getting a live line at 9.5. And the game still ended up going under 6.5. So we'll take that plus money cash. That was a nice little plus 115. Shout out to Jeff M. Giving the $2 dono. Says smash that like button. You goddamn right, smash that like button. Love the donos. Appreciate the hard-earned cash coming back in to help support the infrastructure here, guys. This is how we get bigger and better. And that starts with guys like our boy Jeff out there throwing the donos. San Jose's team total over plus 140. That thing cashed in the second period for us. You know, San Jose took down that minus 500 New Jersey Devil spot on Friday. I know it's like several days ago and it's hard to remember, but I'm doing my best to get there. Incarnate Word plus 1.5. Big time loss. Indiana -2. Big time win. Arkansas State plus 1.5. Big time loss. Kansas sweaty, but a win at -2.5. We lost Orlando -11. Yeah, some of you guys in the chat were talking about that revenge spot there, and they didn't get it done. Bottom line, they didn't get it done. But Memphis +6 did get it done. Denver -8 did get it done, and that led us to a 6-4 day. And then some of the other plays that I tossed out there, we went 2-0 on those as well. So we had the 76ers over 224, despite the controversy with the the players load management and everything else that went into it. We got there. And then the Oregon college football game under 66. It's ready, but it got there. So that's going to bring us current here, right? We're again sitting at 185 and 160. Tons of plays given out over the last 5-6 weeks. And we're sitting at a healthy 20 and a half units up. So let's put last week behind us. Let's turn the page and let's jump into the NFL because we do have Monday Night Football tonight. Again, Jimmy the Bag, our guy's going to be hosting the live stream tonight. We're all going to be dropping in there, giving you guys our best looks, our best plays, and then we're going to sit around, have some cocktails, and try to enjoy the game itself here. It's going to be an interesting one here. We got the Bengals and the Jaguars, right? The Jaguars showing some resurgence after a couple of off days. Kind of looked like ETN was the injury factor out there. He was dealing with some rib issues and wasn't able to kind of get the consistency that he had established when he was way back in London on the road and those 3 or 4 games after he came home. But the flip side of things, we know the big deal is Joey Burrow and his absence for the Bengals. You know, they've got, what's his name? Browning. What's his name? Browning. Shout out to Dana Delp, gifting a Pub Sports Radio membership. Dana Delp, I appreciate you so much. My guy, thank you much. It means a ton. And you know what? It's thankful to see you guys come back here, represent, show your appreciation, and spend some of your hard-earned cash giving back to the show, and that means a ton. So we appreciate that, of course. So let's talk about this Bengals game. We started at -1. Bengals were road favorites. Obviously, that was pre-Joey Burrow news. That line is shot up to 10. It's even 10.5 now. 65% of the bets on the Jaguars, 50% of the cash. The total, it's prime time. We know about these prime time unders, especially Monday. Worth noting that Monday and Thursdays lead the charge in those prime time unders. Sunday doesn't really fall under that arena, but Mondays certainly trump Thursdays when it comes to the overall numbers out there. So as far as this under, it opened at 41. It did drop to 40 earlier today, but we're starting to see a resurgence. There's 40.5s and 41s out there. 66% of the bets and 51% of the cash on this under for the Jaguars. And interesting spot, right? We talked about this before here. Last week, Browning gets out there, gets the game start, first real start without Joey Burrow out there. What's he do? Well, he leads the offense to an amazing 10 points. It was a divisional game against the Pittsburgh Steelers, who, you know, we saw just lose to Arizona and dealing with some quarterback issues now. But in a divisional game, they were 2.5-point favorites. Again, only 10 points on the board. And I'm just kind of having a real difficult spot right now with the Bengals. They lost to Houston 30-27. That was a huge comeback with no time by C.J. Stroud. They lost that divisional game to Baltimore. They kind of got slapped around. It was on the road. 34-20 spot. That was the Joey Burrow goes down game, and it looked like Browning was a deer in the headlights when he got the call. But, you know, defense stepped up last game, 16-10. On the flip side with the Jaguars, yeah, they just came off that loss to Houston, 24-21. So they both have – he won against Houston on the road. So that was a big note. That was the game before that where the head coach came in and said, you know, we got to start stepping up. We got to have our quarterback play like a quarterback and not whatever else he's doing out there. And I'm paraphrasing. I know he had some – colorful description around exactly how he thought, you know, Trevor Lawrence should get the job done. And they did get it done. They beat Tennessee the week prior, 34-14. Obviously, they got trounced by San Francisco, 34-3. That was a big loss. That was that loss at home that was a big factor for the Jaguars. So, you know, for me in this game, you'll see on the top here, a couple props that I like here, starting this thing off here. First and foremost, I like the Trevor Lawrence over 13.5 rushing yards. He's averaging 22 rushing yards a game throughout the season. So, it's a strong lean for me on that side of things. That might make a same game parlay for me. And I'm just thinking again with the ETN factor, you know, coming off this rib injury, granted he had a light week of practice and he's been cleared to go tonight. I just think that this playbook and where they're comfortable is when, you know, Trevor Lawrence is rolling out of the pocket, trying to find a wide open deep ball to Calvin Ridley. And if he can't find it, then he's not afraid to use his legs and pick up that first down. We saw that with the 4 p.m. games yesterday. We saw that especially with, you know, the Patrick Mahomes spot there ended up with 26 rushing yards last night. They lost that game. But again, when the chips are down, he had to go out there and push with the ground. And I think that's what we're going to see with Trevor Lawrence. You know, Joey Mixon over 18.5 receiving yards. Another lean for me in this spot. I'm not enamored with the pricing on these things. The T-Law -130, the Joey Mixon over 18.5 receiving yards. What I do like about that is that Jacksonville is probably the most suspect team against letting running back passes out of the flats. And so they let the teams, they lead the league in running backs catching balls out of the backfield. So receiving yards given up to running backs. And I think Mixon's live. If you think about this guy Browning coming in here, is he likely to throw the deep ball to Chase? And, they do have T. Higgins coming back as well, but I don't think that's going to necessarily be the playbook. I think you got to let this thing get on the ground. You got to chew this clock. We see the unders. We know that the clock is moving. These guys want to get in and out of here and get on to this bye week or the next week that they have coming up. So I do like that spot for Mixon over 18.5 receiving yards. I probably like that one more than the Trevor Lawrence spot, but it's a coin flip for me. I went to this first half under. I like the 20.5 in the under. I know what we've seen with a lot of these primetime games is the first half has gone over and then the full game ends up going under. But I kind of think this is a flip of the script here. I think we're going to have kind of a sluggish start. I don't think Jacksonville has to go out there and throw 3 touchdowns in the first quarter to take the lead in this game here. I think that the Bengals, ideally they'll start with the ball. They'll have a nice long 7-minute clock pounding drive. And that's just going to put this thing back in. It's a game of chess, and Jaguars are going to have to match that. But official play that I did end up with here, I went to the Cincinnati Bengals. I know Browning, and we saw the 10 points last week, but he didn't look terrible. He was still throwing the ball down the field. He was getting balls wide open to some of those wide receivers, and he was able to move some of those chains. Again, the Mixon show, the defense stepping up in that big divisional game against Pittsburgh. I guess the question in this one comes down to how many points do you value this quarterback at when it comes to the injury factor? Now, if you take out, the fact that they're on the road, theoretically they get 2 to 3 points. We'll just use 3 as the benchmark. That was the old traditional benchmark that the home team gets 3. So now you're saying, okay, if they're getting 3, Jacksonville should be a -3. Is Burrow a -7? Is he worth 7 points or a full touchdown? I don't know about that. And that being the case this season, at the end of the day, for me, I thought, this is just probably an overinflation of the number itself. And I had to jump with it. I had to say, you know what, give me the Jacksonville. I'm sorry, the Cincinnati Bengals first, the +10 for the Cincinnati Bengals. I was reading something that was coming through. Here's a number for you guys. I kind of rode with this number yesterday, and it got me to the Green Bay money line on a nice little +220 spot. Not advocating anybody does that right now, but for shits and giggles, let's talk about what that money line actually looks like here. Oh, it's +430, 420s. Cincinnati, 10-0 overall and against the spread when they're coming off a non-season opening game where they scored no more than 17 points. Now, I'll caveat this thing or put an asterisk on it and say, a lot of these trends go back to the Joey Burrow factors being out there. But again, defense steps up. Who knows? Push comes to shove. Is Burrow worth that touchdown that we just talked about out there? And I'm saying no. So I like that 10-0 against the spread number. Non-divisional primetime favorites. This is going to be the Jacksonville Jaguars, who've covered the spread in their last 2 or more games, are 0-12 against the spread when they're in a revenge spot against the team they lost in the last meeting they played them out there. So that trend's going to have an important factor to it because that is active in the next 3 or 4 primetime games. So non-divisional primetime favorites who are on a nice little cover streak of 2 games or more are 0-12 against the spread when they're in a revenge spot against the team they lost to the last time they played. And here's the big one for me. This is what kind of drove me over the finish line. Let's talk about the defense, right? We talked about what their ability and how they've been stepping up lately. The flip side of this thing here, Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence has played 4 career regular season primetime games going into tonight. The Jaguars have done okay in those games. But Trevor Lawrence is not the answer in those games. In 4 primetime games, he only has 2 total passing touchdowns. Now, he doesn't have any interceptions. So if you're thinking, I'll take that touchdown or that interception prop, more power to you, but he has no interceptions. 4 primetime games, 2 total passes, touchdowns, and no more than 229 yards in any of those games. So what we're seeing here, this is the first time that Trevor Lawrence has been a double-digit favorite in his career in a primetime spot as well. So there's a lot of pressure and a lot of expectation, and this is truly going to come down to, can he step up and rise to the occasion here? I'm banking on not. I think the 10 points in my pocket's enough to get this thing done. I don't know that he ends up going and covering this money line outright, but let me just do a quick line shop on the number. There's 10.5s out there, but it's a little juicier. I don't think the hook's going to matter. I could see him winning this game by a touchdown. I could see Jacksonville winning, but probably like 6 points is how I would envision this game. So there's our guy Perky says, does Lawrence get 250 yards or more? I don't know. I think game script would dictate that Jacksonville's up early in this game and Cincinnati's trying to get that backdoor cover. And if that's the case, I would think they run the ball on the ground a little bit more than not. So North Ender says, yeah, I could only look Cincy. Joe Cool can't be worth 10 points. That's kind of my thought exactly there. It's just, is that too many points for Joe Burrow? Now, what he's done this season, he started out sluggish. He would definitely not have been worth 10 points at the start of the season. His last few games pre-injury, maybe he was worth that. But then when he was out there playing against Baltimore, he didn't look great to start the game off. So granted, they talked about that hand injury and everything else that was going out there, but that's going to be the game. We cover that thing, in some detail. Obviously, 7:30 Eastern here. Jimmy the Bag and crew will be out breaking down all the ins and outs of this game. So just kind of giving you guys a sampling of what I like here. I did get to the window with the 10. The 3 leans are spots I'm looking at. I'm going to try to figure out, do I same game parlay it? I know I saw a boost and a no sweat option with DK. So I may get there with that. I just have to play around with it and try to come up with the configuration. All the more reason we got to keep a brisk pace. So I have some time to kind of look at those X's and O's and try to figure out where the Jimmies and Joes have to go in. So let's break it up. Let's get to the next spot here. We're going to talk about to you guys. We're lacing up the skates tonight. Lacing up the skates. We've had a tremendous NHL season to start the year off. And I think I have a couple good spots tonight. So what I will say is, one of the things I meant to do this weekend and I just didn't get there was breaking down kind of sport by sport. So that'll be something that I take away as my task list here so that we can really get the microscope dialed in to see exactly where we're winning and exactly where we need to get stronger. But I think the NHL is safe to say that, we started off November 18-0 in the NHL, and there's no reason we can't keep it rolling. So let's keep firing here. I know 18-0 sounds crazy when I say it aloud, and I hate to kind of go back and talk about something that's 4 weeks old now. But again, I think it's worth noting because we do spend a little bit more time than probably most like in the NHL, and it's because that's where we're getting paid. Sweaty Butcher, prime cut, baby, says he likes that Boston, Indianapolis over 243.5. That sounds like a nice medium rare porterhouse from our guy Sweaty Butcher giving us that prime cut. And Justin McElvey says only played Ingram over 46.5 for the NFL. Tricky spot, Justin, wasn't it? I kind of thought, when I looked at this thing, not so sure, but Perky Sanderson says Celtics seem to be that L word. And, we'll say it. They seem to be a lock. We'll talk about the NBA here after we get through the NHL. So let's keep it rolling for you guys here. NHL, first game out the hop. I loved this spot for Pittsburgh to start this thing off here. It was a big revenge spot opportunity. Revenge spot, home team that's off a loss, now on the road over the course of the NHL. 514 to 267, winning 3.3 to 2.6 goals. If the opponent's off a win and you're off a loss, now you're the away favorite. You're 15-9. Different from the revenge trend. It's just kind of that win-loss factors happen to coexist with these two teams. Was a 15-9 spot, but 9-14 to the under. Ultimately, what pulled me back away from this thing is Nedeljkovic. Nedeljkovic for Pittsburgh is the guy. They were looking at Yari all day today. And when I did the refresh about an hour before the show popped in, here we go with this Nedeljkovic, 2-2. Carter Hart on the other side, 6-1. Nedeljkovic, though, is more than serviceable. 2.26 goals against average, 93.7 save percentage. Carter Hart, 2.68 goals against average, 90.9% save percentage. With Nedeljkovic, this is his first start since November 24th. Now, he just gave him a little bit of rest. Prior to that, he did have a lower back injury, a lower body injury, but he's rebounding to form. He has only gone 1-1 in his last 2 games, but I think that's more of a function of the current state of Pittsburgh than it is an actual Nedeljkovic factor. 69 saves out of 72 shots over those 2 games as well. They're not playing a ton of defense. Pittsburgh has lost 6 games in a row, 6 of 9, They're 3-4-2 over that stretch. That 2 in the last column represents overtime losses. So they were tightly contested in 5 of their 9 total games. The other side of the equation, though, is Carter Hart. I talked about this last week and probably the week before. Philadelphia ruins goaltenders. It's a contract year for Carter Hart. He's 0-3-1 in his last 4 games, and he's let up 3 or more goals in each of those games. He's only rocking an 88.6% save percentage right now. The challenge for that is Pittsburgh's only scored 3 goals or more in 1 of their last 6. So there's a lot of kind of double narratives, if you will, in this spot here and saying, Carter Hart, he started the season off and he's averaging 90.9% save percentage, but his current form shows an 88.6. Currently a sell factor on Carter Hart. That Nedeljkovic factor, I wanted to go with Pittsburgh in this thing because of the revenge spot here. The line opened at -130. It's dropped all the way down to -115. There is money coming in now, and it's been since Nedeljkovic was announced the goaltender that the money's coming in on the Flyers. I lean to the under 6.5 in this one. Again, I liked it better with Yari, but I just can't pull the trigger on it. We see 33% of the bets and 56% of the cash on the under, and the line's really not moving. We're still seeing 6.5. It is minus 105 for the 6.5, so not an official play for me. But I love that revenge narrative factor there in this game, particularly this home loss. Now you're on the road, 514 to 267 is a ton of opportunity, and the Penguins just a great value. They just stink in their current form, and I can't recommend anybody makes any moves on that. So Jeff says Carter likes the brotherly shove. Yeah, I'm not sure how that works from the goal, but he has been taking it from behind, that's for sure. So anyways, let's go on to the next game. Let's talk about the Stars and the Lightning here. Appreciate everybody dropping in. 137 plus here to talk last call, share some looks out there in the chat, and talk about some of these spots that we're going to get paid on and get to the window. And that is an official play for me in this game. I am getting to the window with the Dallas Stars here. Tremendous spot for me with this Dallas Stars team. First of all, we have Ottinger in net for the Stars, 10-4-2. Tampa Bay side of things, Vasilevsky 1-3. Dissect that 1-3. He came back, they stuffed him in there against the Blues, and they whooped up on the Blues. I think it was 8-1 or 8-2. Really wasn't much need out there to play goaltender. They could have turned that thing over or put a shooter in net and probably still gotten the victory. At the end of the day, though, since then, he's at 3.82 goals against average, 85.9% save percentage. Not where you want to be. Dallas, Ottinger, his last 2 games, although he's kind of been sloppy, he did make 59 of 60 saves in his last 2 games. Here's the deal with Ottinger, though. Ottinger's a buy when he is on the road. You buy on Ottinger. He's at 3.0 goals against average at home. He's averaging a 4-3-1 record, right? Not averaging, but he is a 4-3-1 record. Bring him on the road. 1.87 goals against average, 94.2% save percentage, and he's 6-1-1. Tampa's lost 6 games in a row right now. They just got cooked by Dallas 8-1. I think Dallas comes into this barn here in Tampa energized. They're not scared. They don't care if this team's playing in Stanley Cup potential capability the last couple of seasons. I think they're ready to put boot to ass. Away favorites off a win when they have a short line, and the opponent was a dog the previous game, which was Tampa Bay, are 304 to 186. So that's almost a 500 game sample. But the current trend in that thing, as I broke it down, is 10-1 in the last 11. If the team is on a 1-6 game streak, that's very much the Dallas Stars here. If they're on that 1-6 game streak, it's 158 to 67. That's an 81% win percentage for a team that's red hot on the road in Ottinger at minus 110. No way I'm going the other direction. I got to go with myself here with trust the gut with this one. Ottinger's the guy for us. We're getting him at a really nice price on the road where they kick ass and take names. And they're going to have a good time down there. Tampa Bay might very well be the adult gentleman's capital of the country. And they're going to have a lot of fun after they smoke them Tampa Bay Lightning tonight. So let's keep it rolling. Let's talk about the next game. I did take a healthy pass on the Hurricanes and Jets game. I just don't know. Not going to get there. Not going to talk about it. Not going to cover it. I will say that 76% of the bets, 58% of the cash coming in on Carolina. So sharper money is looking to take that Jets team. 85% of the bets, 87% of the cash on the under. The challenge I had was the last time I went and took an under in the Hurricanes game was that Islander spot, and I think they scored 9 or 10 goals total. So once bitten, twice shy. We're going to let that one kind of simmer for a little bit, simmer it down, and try to see if we can't get a better read on it in another couple of days. We are going to talk about this next game, though. It's the Seattle Kraken, Le Habitant, the Montreal Canadiens. We got Grubauer in that. So I put this in, and of course, I talked to you guys before about these last-minute goaltending changes. JW, if you've ever been down by the airport in Tampa Bay, I think you would, I don't know about the quality of the establishment, but the sheer volume of the establishments is what you got to really take note of when you go down to Tampa Bay. So anyway, I digress. And, I will say, I'm sure Vegas, high quality, state of the art, but nonetheless, let's talk about this game. So I talked to you guys recently about the goaltending changes at the last minute. What happens in these goaltending changes? This kind of pivots back to Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh did have a goaltending change. Who else had a goaltending change? Grubauer, now the goaltender for the Seattle Kraken. So the Kraken 5-7-1 with Grubs in net. And on the other side of things, Montembeault, a 5-3-1 Montembeault. Here's a big deal for Montembeault. We'll talk a little bit about why this is, right? This is his first game that he's starting since he just signed a 3-year, $9.5 million contract. So big cash came his way based on the merit that he earned in the first part of the season. Yeah, only 5-3-1, but a 2.73 goals against average with a 91% save percentage. Grubauer on the other side of things, 3.37 goals against average, 88.2. They sat his ass the last game. And of course, Seattle took that loss to Ottawa 2-0. So Grubauer is one of the current form worst goaltenders in the league. But that being said, when you look at this number for the Habitants Montreal, they're also one of the worst in terms of goals for. They're only averaging 2.75 goals for. I think the Grubauer sub 89.5%, his last 8 games number stands out to me the most, though. Here's a home team with a goalie that's red hot, just signed a big contract. 3-1 his last 4 starts, 92.9% save percentage. So we talk about his 91% on the year. He's currently 92.9%. He's playing better than his season average. Seattle has lost 4 in a row. They're 0-3-1. They've only scored 7 goals in those 4 games. They're averaging 1.75 goals for. I had to jump in on this Montreal spot at plus money, the home dog, plus 140 spot for me. Trap or not, I'll take a shot at this thing every day. We're almost getting 1.5 times our money back, and just a spot where Montembeault's got to be feeling good. This isn't the off-season contract renewal. This is a guy mid-season, mid-form, trying to come out there and show his worth, and he's not going to feel any better than he does right now with the numbers and the money that he's got in the bank account. That first check had to come through, and he had to be like, holy shit, I did it. And I think that's going to translate to a big victory tonight. We know, again, that Seattle's not finding the back of the net right now, and they're finding some instability with their goaltending. I think this is where we're going to start to see Seattle fall back a little bit on the season, even more than they already have, losing 4 in a row. So give me that plus money spot. Give me the home Habs. And like it, let's move on. Let's talk about this next game we're going to get into here. We're going to look at this Washington Capitals, Arizona Coyotes game. You know what I meant to look at is how many road games in a row is this for the Capitals? I should have pulled that up before the show because that to me was kind of the narrative for this game here. We've got the Coyotes have been blazing at home. They're just kicking ass, taking names. They were on a 7-game home win streak going into this past weekend. So I should have probably updated some of those things, but 4 games. This is the 5th game now in a row for the Capitals to be on the road. I mean, that's just taxing. It's hot down there in Arizona. Not a spot you want to be, in my opinion, when it comes to the NHL, but that is a college campus. Some of those young bucks might be looking to get it done. So we'll see how that plays a part for this game here. But interesting spot. First and foremost, no Kuznetsov for the Capitals. That's a big deal here. And if you look at the goaltenders that are starting, it's Kemper at 5-5-2. And who's the Coyotes starting again? They're going back to Ingram. They're riding the hot hand. He's 10-3 on the season now. It's also his 5th straight start. So we talked earlier in the season about the goaltending strategy for the Coyotes was going to be to alternate Ingram and Vejmelka. And now Ingram's going 5 straight. He's only let in 5 goals in his last 4 games. He's at 96.1% save percentage right now. I just talked about the Kuznetsov factor. There's some injuries going on. There's some sickness floating around that Capitals locker room. Kemper wasn't supposed to be the guy. They were supposed to be more of an alternating process with Lindgren, but Lindgren's been sick. He's on the road. He's sick. He's not feeling good about what's going on. This forces Kemper to get his 3rd start in a row. We talked about 4 road games in a row. This is now the 5th for the Capitals. Kemper on his 3rd road start in a row. You would think, give the guy mercy, pull the fucking pretzel guy out of the stands and stick him in goal. This guy's 1-2 in his last 3 games. Only saved 81 of 90 shots. Just a real difficult spot. Arizona has won 4 games in a row, and Arizona's really outscoring their opponents right now. They're outscoring their opponents 13-5. I think it's going to be a real difficult spot for Kemper and net tonight. Again, they're riding that hot hand with Ingram. The Capitals have only scored 2 or more goals in 1 of their last 5 games. And at the end of the day, that's just not enough to get the job done. So I think this is a comfortable Arizona team. By the way, 4th home game in a row for these boys. They beat up Tampa. They were on the road. They took it to Vegas. They shut out Vegas 2-0. They beat Tampa 3-1. They beat Colorado 4-3. And they took their revenge on a St. Louis team that beat them 5 games before 4-1. I don't know what else they have to do to go out there and show that they're worthy of our money. But at -120, they're absolutely worth my money here. I know I like them better as a dog, but in this case here, I don't like what we have with Washington. So last game on the ice here, We're going to keep these skates on as we talk about this last spot for everybody tonight. And this is kind of going up against, it's a contrarian look, in my opinion, when we have these two games. I don't say that very often. I kind of don't really like the way it sounds. Kind of sounds like you're an asshole, an arrogant prick when you say that. But nonetheless, I guess I just said it. Maybe I am. I don't know. That being said, though, I'm looking at this Vegas game, and I had to rock in on this over. So first and foremost, we have Binnington in that 7-6 with St. Louis. We have Logan Thompson on the other side, 6-3-2 for Las Vegas. A 2.98 goals against average for Binnington, 91%. Interesting to see Binnington back in there because he was kind of sitting, and they were talking. There were potential trade rumors out there for this guy, but what he's done since then is he's been, pretty solid. Logan Thompson on the other side, 6-3-2, 236 goals against average, 91.8% save percentage. Vegas has won 2 games in a row, but I like the scoring process now for Vegas. They were trying to figure some things out. They were really struggling. They had kind of their low spot there. They got shut out by Arizona that I talked about a couple games back. But since then, their last 2 games, they've outscored their opponents 8-2. This shouldn't be a Logan Thompson spot, but Aiden Hill, their number one guy, has been day-to-day with an injury. So really, Logan Thompson's supposed to be the 1 in every 3 starts guy. But because of the situation that's taken place, I was talking to my brother the other day about this number with the 6. Right? We talked about the 6 and the over process for the 6. When you see the 6 on an over, it's 55 overs, 40 unders, 8 pushes. So this is a spot here where the number that jumped out to me was when you previously played Columbus, Washington, or the Jets. You've gone over 42 times. You've stayed under 19 times. You've scored 7 goals on average in that spot here. So I love this Vegas over 6 spot here. I say it's that contrarian play because Binnington should be the better goaltender for the Blues. Thompson's kicking ass for Vegas, and there shouldn't be a lot of goals in this game. But we have that double factor with the number being a 6. We have 8 times it's pushed, so that gives us, almost a 10%. We'll call it an 8% shot for the push, and then a 55% shot for the win. That's just great odds. That's just simple mathematics here. And again, playing Columbus, Washington, and the Jets, you've gone over 42, you've stayed under 19, and you're scoring 7 goals at a clip. So I had to jump in on that one. That to me, we'll take the lucky 7s. Perky Sanderson, let's go, my guy. I see it looks like you guys might be talking about something else. I'm jumping in late to the party on the chat. So appreciate you guys, man. Keep it going. Keep dropping those plays in there. Let's keep it rolling here. Michael Johnson says 4 in a row, sir. Kings, Ducks, San Jose. Yotes all day. I agree. Craig Wood says Coyotes the only team that has beat the past 4 Stanley Cup winners in a row. That's an impressive number. When I was looking at those games, I couldn't believe it myself. So let's jump in. Let's keep it rolling here. Keep a nice brisk pace for you guys. We're going to talk a little bit about the NBA. Take a look down, guys. Do me the favor. Hit the thumbs up, the like button on YouTube for us. Again, it means a ton. You guys have heard me say it. If you haven't done so already, we got 140 people almost in this thing rocking with us tonight here. Monday, trying to get that new week and that new money. I think it's going to be a big week for us. I'm excited. I took an early look ahead with the small card today at the rest of the week. So let's have some fun. Let's build this bankroll here, and let's jump into the NBA. First and foremost, I'll give you guys the number. I don't have it broken down from a side perspective, right? But we do have 2 games in the NBA. We've got the New Orleans Pelicanos and then the Boston Celtics playing the Indiana Pacers. And the first game that I've got for you guys from some numbers perspective here is going to be this Pelicans-Kings game. This line opened at -5 for the Kings. It's down to 3. 64% of the bets and 54% of the cash are on the New Orleans Pelicans. And then the total has moved up from 231.5 to 238. Even though we have 44% of the bets and 83% of the cash smashing that under, they moved at 7.5 points. Suspect. Then you look at the money line. The money line for the Pelicans-Kings game, the Kings opened up at -215. It's all the way down to -144. 78% of the bets, 34% of the cash. So the sharp money is absolutely taking a shot for the Pelicanos to advance. And I took the Pelicans on the spread here. I like the spread. I was thinking about sprinkling this thing in here. We talked about the money movement. We see the numbers moving to the over. You guys know I like the dog and the over correlation factor. Home favorites that are playing an opponent that scored between 110 and 120 points the last game are 8-23 straight up. 8-23 straight up in those spots. What that tells me is they're making them a home favorite. The opponent's coming in not having difficulty scoring 110 to 120 spot. They're losing those games by 4 points on average as a favorite, as a home favorite with an average line around 5. So this number started at 5. We're down to 3.5. And it was kind of all signs point to go for me with the Pelicans here. I think the Pelicans are the team. This is what this tournament was built for. Not the Kings are trying to make their moves deeper into the postseason. The Pelicans and their opportunity to shine right now. They get that bonus money should they win. And, I think they're going to look to get this W outright tonight. I'll take the 3.5 on my side, only because with 22% of the bets and 66% of the cash on the Pelicans, it's dropped 50 cents. We're only seeing a plus 130 out there right now. So is that enough for me? Is that extra 30 cents enough for me to move away from taking the 3.5 in my back pocket in case it's a one-score game? It's not. But I do see unlucky charms in the chat. I like the look there. The Pacers Pelicans parlay both on the money lines got to pay pretty nicely. And then Coin says he's got the Pelicans at plus 1,200 to win the in-season tournament. They should be the guys to get it done tonight. They should come out there and rock and roll here. Tarek B says, "What up, Mike? What's your look on the Tampa game?" I went the other side in that Tampa game there. I went with was it Dallas? It's all black to me right now. I can't see. It's all one big blur. So Dallas. Thanks, Michael Johnson. Thanks. Appreciate it. So I'm rocking and rolling with the New Orleans Pelicanos tonight. Fly, Pelican, fly for this game here at plus 3.5. And then the other NBA game that we have on the cards tonight for you guys. I'm just going to give you a couple of thoughts on this thing here. It's the Celtics opening at 4.5 and sitting at 4.5. 72% of the bets. I'm going to do something about my desk. I get excited and it starts shaking. Minus 4.5, 72% of the bets and 69% of the cash on the Pelicans with really a frozen line. The total, in my opinion, 86% of the bets, 86% of the cash. That Pelicans line or that Pacers line started at 235. It's up to 245.5 now. I mean, that thing's screwed 10 points over. I think the big factor there, and maybe Teal, correct me if I'm wrong, is the Haliburton news. Haliburton coming in and playing, and I think that's probably, we know what his propensity to shoot the three-pointer looks like. This game's got a lot of fun written on it. I just couldn't get there on a side. I mean, first of all, I don't want to jump in on a total that's this sky high now, right? I mean, we opened up and we're 10 points over the number from the get-go on this thing. Yeah, there we go. There's our guy. Look at this guy. Producer extraordinaire. Says Haliburton and Toppin both playing tonight. So there should be a fast-paced game. The spot that I was initially looking at here, I was looking at this first half and taking the over 121.5. Now that I see the Haliburton and Toppin news, I'm still not going to do it. I'm still thinking about it. I got some time to figure it out if I want to get there. But I wanted to break that big total down because what did we see the last time the Celtics played the Pacers? They kicked the ever-loving piss out of them. They smacked them. They beat them by 50 points? I think it was 50 points was the overall. 52 points is how much they beat them by. When you smack a team by 52 points, I think first they've got revenge on their mind. They know they got to play defense. We know that it's like 14-2 to the over for the Pacers. It should be an over game. But we've seen it run 10 points now. I think the better play is the live bet strategy here. Let's wait and see if that first quarter comes in around 56 or 58. Even if it's at 60, we should still have a number that's way south, both in the first half and the full game for this one. Some of the spots that I looked at previously, you guys know I got bottom mouth with the Haliburton factor there, right? I had his three-pointer spot there last week there, and it was a great day, and I ended up taking 3 losses on that game. The Pacers stayed under. Haliburton didn't get 3, and he certainly didn't get 5 because he couldn't get 3. But today they have him priced in an interesting spot. His over 3.5 threes is minus 135. But the spot that I talked about earlier today on the sesh with our boys Daddy Cab and Dutch Boy Fresh, I went and looked at this triple-double. We got Tatum coming back off an ejection. That's not going to sit well with this guy. He's a guy that's willing to throw threes. We know that they're willing to let the threes up there. I know a ton of people I respect are all over the Tatum point spots tonight. Tatum points at 30.5, albeit slightly juiced to the under. I didn't want to necessarily take the stab at that thing, but I do have a little sprinkle on my card at plus 3,000. It's now down to plus 2,800. FanDuel's dropped it to plus 2,100, and BetMGM plus 1,850. Another strategy I'd looked at was thinking about the double-double. His double-double was minus 120, parlaying that with the side, but I just couldn't ultimately decide which side I wanted to go with here. Do I think that the Celtics should come out here and kick him right in the face? I do, but I also I'm concerned that there's a huge motivation spot for a team in the Pacers that this is the game they should win. I know Haliburton came back and said he's tired of losing and this and that and the other thing, and he's trying to pick the team up by their bootstraps. I just don't know if I can get there. Sweaty Butcher, there he is, says Haliburton 4+ threes. Trey Murphy, 15+ points, rebounds, assists is plus 227. Wow. I like that. I'm gonna make a copy and paste of that, Sweaty Butcher. I may dabble. I like that plus 227 number. I like the 3 spot. I think that makes a lot of sense. And then I just have to look into Trey Murphy a little bit more. But I like it, man. Thanks for sharing that one with us. I know I'm kind of all over the place with this NBA spot here. I just, it's too many points for me. Will they go out there and score 300? Probably. T and I were talking about that before the show here, talking about the number. And just when we think it's going to be an under, they go out there and they blast that over. But I just ultimately couldn't pull the trigger. So still a little bit of time. That's a 7:30 tip. We'll see if I get anything locked down and official. Like I said, I did sprinkle. I'm not going to go official for the show. I just wanted to let you guys know my head space when it comes to the Tatum spot there. It's just good money. I mean, what does he got to get? 10 rebounds, 10 assists, and we know he's going to get the points. To me, that just feels like the good spot for a guy. Should come out motivated. The pace of this game is what dictated that spot for me. Oh, don't say that, Sean Fisher. If he goes under 10.5 assists, my triple-double's dead. But now you're entitled to your opinion, my guy. But I just think the pace dictates this thing here. You can't get to 140 points if you don't shoot the ball, 200 times. And that's going to generate a lot of rebound opportunities, a lot of assist opportunities to chuck it up the court and keep fast pace with some of the other guys out there, like Holiday. Drew Holiday should be back here. Brown, I think a lot of these guys have an opportunity to go out there and get themselves double-digit points and then some. And I think the challenge for me was whether I wanted the double-double or the triple-double. I sprinkled that triple-double. I just like the motivation spot for our guy. But let's move on. Let's go. We got to keep a brisk pace here again for you guys. 150 plus, rocking. That's so awesome, you guys. Thanks for dropping in, saying what's up, putting your plays in the chat. I see a ton of good stuff out there. Let's talk about college basketball. Excuse me. A couple spots that I was kind of looking at there. I just kind of really quickly, I kind of like that Iowa-Purdue game over. We know that they're capable of scoring a lot of points. I looked at that first half spot. The numbers moved now 2 points from even when I looked at it, and I was on the fence when it was 75.5. I saw 77.5. I can't pull the trigger. Now, we have 45% of the bets and 68% of the cash on the under. So another kind of red flag for me to say, do I want to jump on the over? But when I looked at that over at 77, that's a 154. We still have almost 14 points from the original opening in our back pocket. So I kind of thought breaking it down and looking at that first half, I just couldn't pull the trigger on it. Arkansas, Alabama. Shout out to our guy, Dabby Cab. I know he gave out the Alabama spot earlier today on the sesh. If you haven't checked it out, go. The guys have a lot of fun on the show. And he was looking at that Bama spot. I can't say I argue with that either. It's a lot of points, 47% of the bets, 71% of the cash on the Bama side of things. Marginal movement, one way or the other. I guess you get a line shot depending on how you want to look at this thing. The over is kind of concern. 78% of the bets and 85% of the cash on the over hasn't moved. And I know that there's no graphics for these games. I'm just kind of rolling down the card. The first spot that I did jump in on, though, I went with the under in the Arkansas-Furman game. A couple of reasons behind this one. First of all, we got 61% of the bets and 81% of the cash on the under. And we're seeing it start to drop a little bit. As far as the side, Arkansas opened at -12. Still pretty much sits at -12. 68% of the bets, 50% of the cash on the Arkansas side, though. So it almost looks like some sharper money's thinking Furman. And this is one of those ones where I'd try to kind of have to monitor the overall injury report in this one more so than I probably care to. I like this under a lot, specifically when I looked at some of the trends on this thing. I saw these SEC schools against mid-major opponents have gone under at a 70% clip. And I think this is an opportunity for mismatch. Furman with Foster is the question mark for me. Furman, Foster, it's a tongue twister for me. Foster's their top scorer in Furman. He's questionable right now. And, he's a 15-point scorer out there. So if not more, with this guy out, that definitely has the potential to bring this thing down. But the number for me that kind of stood out was Brazile. Brazile at 6'10" creates a mismatch against pretty much everybody on the floor for Furman. So you got a tall tree out there, puts his hand up to make a bunch of blocks. He scores a ton as well. I initially looked at the Arkansas team total over 84.5. But I thought with the injury factor pending for Foster, we'll monitor this because this game doesn't start until 8 p.m. Eastern on the SEC network. But with that Foster spot out there, I like the under 159. And you're going to give me, that's the question, Craigwood. That's what we're kind of looking at there. I saw the number. I was concerned about it. Looks like we do have some movement now. Yeah, JPZ. I still see 159. Caesar still has 159. It does look like 157.5. 156s and 155.5. So line shop that puppy because, Furman doesn't play defense. There's absolutely no question about that. But to me, it just felt like you're taking out the top scorer. I got to take a stab at it. So there's Director 97, North Dakota State money line, Purdue -13, and Arkansas State +25 for our guy, Director 97. Appreciate you dropping that in there. I guess let me check Caesars here. We got a second. Let me just make sure I'm giving you guys a good number. This might just need to be refreshed too. So let me make sure. Let me be accountable. And this isn't Caesars. This is BetMGM. Let's go into Caesars. I don't use the Caesars app very often, but when I get the better number like that by that 2.5 points, they're slow. They're slow as F to get this shit done. So to me, it's a matter of trying to take advantage where you can. Let's go. It's down to 156 there as well. Okay. And then FanDuel's sitting at 157.5. So let me just double check FanDuel as well for you guys. Want to be real, want to be current, want to give you guys the best numbers out there. Don't want to, put any asterisks in our back pocket there. 157.5 is available with FanDuel. So that'll be the number that we go with here. Furman, Arkansas under 157.5. We'll make that update appropriately. That's the function of the show. Maybe that means that we're going to see, Foster sit this game. I don't know if he's a 1.5 worthy or not, but second game that I went to for college basketball tonight, had a nice little trend on this game. And just a couple of bottom line factors here, X's and O's. This line opened at -1. We have 35% of the bets, but 59% of the cash on North Dakota State. And marginal movement, it's +1 on that side. There's still +1s out there. 65% of the bets, 41% of the cash for San Jose State. And I see a +3. I went with the +3. Real simply put, these teams just played each other, and San Jose State kicked them right in the face. It was in San Jose State, granted, but it was a 78-65 victory for those boys. San Jose State since then has gone on the road and lost 2 straight games. They're still on the road now. They lost to Cal Poly. They lost to Montana. But, North Dakota hasn't done anything. They've been sitting on their hands since then at home. Home favorites, when they're on a total that's less than or equal to 147, if they're off a loss, are 71-82. But it's the margin that jumped out. That's a 10-point margin in favor of 83-70 to the over. Again, if the over is going to hit, that to me kind of dictates the road team in this case. What I am concerned with a little bit long-term and big picture of the game, I thought about the +1.5 for the first half for San Jose State. I thought, these two, they have been on the road, but their last road games weren't, granted, this is their third road game in 5 days. They played on the 29th at Cal Poly. They played at Montana on the 2nd. Now here they are on the 4th on the road again, but as a team, they just whacked on. Is it a revenge spot for them? Yeah. I guess granted, by the sheer nature of the fact that they just lost to them, it is, but I think it's going to be rust versus rest here. And I think they come out rusty. I think North Dakota, maybe they find a way in that first half. And that's what ultimately pushed me in the other direction. I thought 143 points in the first meeting between these two teams, largely led by San Jose, and they're a really quality 3-point shooting team. They had 11 of 24 threes in that game, and they've been effectively shooting at about 45% on the season. North Dakota, on the other side of things, is letting Division I opponents shoot 40.9% from the three. So in this case here, I just thought this is an outlier spot. I know it's a bad schedule spot for San Jose State with the number of games that they have, but give me this team that just beat these guys. You're giving me points on the road. They came out and they outright upset them. You're telling me that home court means 10.5 points difference between these two teams, that they comfortably beat by 13 points the previous time they played? Not enough for me. I'm going to take that extra 10 points. If they beat them by 13, you're giving me 10. That's a 23.5 point spot with simple math for San Jose State. I rocked and rolled San Jose State +3 is an official play for me out there. And we're going to get this one in under the wire. I'm going to have time to go back and make sure I lock down these 7 o'clock plays, man. I appreciate everybody dropping in here tonight. Of course, the gang is here representing, guys. You know the situation. Thumbs up for us. Let's keep it rolling. And let's have a great night tonight. We got, of course, lots of things happening across pub sports this week, but let me give you guys the recap for my official plays, and we'll see about getting up out of here. I'm going to go with the Cincinnati Bengals +10. Second play that I locked in here. You know what I am going to do? I am going to go back, and I am going to make the official. I'm going to go with the under 6.5 for the Flyers game. I'm going to take the Dallas -110. So that was a lean. Now it's an official play. Flyers under 6.5, Dallas -110, Montreal +140, Arizona Coyotes -120, and the Vegas Golden Knights over 6. I took the New Orleans Pelicanos +3.5. We updated this Arkansas under 157.5, and then the San Jose State +3 spot's going to do it. Monday, new money, Pub Sports Radio, man. We got a great live stream tonight. It's going to be a ton of fun. Get some cocktails, get your plays in, and let's live bet and sweat this card out tonight together. Shout out to everybody that came in here tonight. to Pub Sports Radio. You came to Last Call. It's the same place, same time, Monday to Friday, 6 p.m. We're going to give a brisk pace and cover a lot of the cards, share with you guys the looks that I'm trying to use to cook them books. And it means a ton everybody dropped in here. If you haven't done so already, subscribe, hit the notification. When we go live, you will get notified. You don't have to search for us on YouTube. You just click the button and boom, there we are. Furthermore, if you haven't done so yet, $4.99 a month, become a member. It helps us a ton. We want to and develop and invest in the infrastructure, and it takes everybody collectively helping grow this community. So start with you guys in the chat, and it starts with showing up, and you have done that. Now it's time for us to show out, build these bankrolls together, and have a glorious week. Let's go back. Let's kick these bookies in the head, and let's cash them tickets, baby. Let's go Monday.